to Rants of Naija, Chic. Today I will be reviewing episode 7, I believe, of Real Housewives of Durban. If you've not seen my other reviews of this show, please check my description box. It is going to be linked below. Definitely make sure that you're subscribed to the channel while you're there, and let's get right into it. This episode opened with Nonku and her mom in her house. She called over Ruan, which we met as Maria's friend but is now Jojo's friend. Called over Ruan and Jojo to come to her house that she wants to pray before they go on that trip that Jojo is putting together for them. When both of them got to her house and they were seated, she now called RD, was babe, and RD came out and joined them and they just started praying. They were praying for the trip, that there should be no bad energy, all demons should be casted out. That's what Nonku's mom was saying in her confessional. And I was like, I'm not understanding, why are we praying for a trip? I've never seen that on a Real Housewives show before, but okay, whatever floats your boat, I guess. On the other hand, Shorisha also called Maria, Slee, and Annie to her house to have a Reiki session. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Apparently, it's a form of Japanese healing to like cleanse your energy and all that. Again, she's cleansing their energies to get them ready for the trip. So I was like, what exactly is going to happen on this trip? Why is everybody preparing spiritually? But anyway, her session seemed quite nice and everybody was receptive, especially Slee, because Slee considers herself to be attuned to things of the spiritual. She told them that she was going to be burping every time. I didn't even understand that entire thing, but anyway, everybody was receptive. They told them some things, cards and stuff like that, cleanse their chakras, and everybody prepared and got ready to head out to Drakensberg for their trip. The day of the trip finally arrives. Jojo went in a bus with Rowan. Maria went and picked up Sine in a bus as well. Remember that Sine was invited last episode. But of course, Shorisha flew in a helicopter and she chose to fly in with Slee and Annie. Jojo and Ruan got there first and got to their room. The place is very beautiful. South Africa is actually very beautiful. I really need to visit. That aside, Shorisha's group came in second, and when they got to the reception, the host, as we all see in these shows, was not there to welcome them. So they had to get their keys by themselves. It is at getting their keys that they realized when the guy mistakenly hands over Sine's room key to Slee and was like, "Are you Sine?" Slee was like, No, never. I'm never Sine. And that's when the ladies realized that Sine has been invited on this trip. Sine that Jojo told Annie specifically will not be coming. So already they were kind of like prepared, but they took it very well. I expected there to be fireworks, but they actually took it quite well. So when they realized that Sine's room was close to them, they switched out things and then, went to their rooms. Jojo, on the other hand, who had seen when they arrived, saw the helicopter and started feeling a little bit salty, now called up Annie and was like, "Are you here?" I was like, "Girl, you saw them. You were sitting on the balcony with Warren and you saw them come in a helicopter and you were having things to say about it in your confessional. Of course you saw them." Anyway, Annie goes up to meet her. So she's now getting ready to tell Annie, "Please, we'll see you. Sine is on the trip." But of course, Annie already knows. So when Annie gets there, she's trying to beat around the bush and Annie just came up later and said, "Sine is here." And she's like, "Oh, you already know?" She said yes. And then Annie told her I switched out her room. She was so close to us, and it was like, So in her confessional, Annie now said that she actually had expected Jojo to give in and invite Sine, that Jojo is a people pleaser. So I guess me that was expecting fireworks from her saying that Sine was there, I did not get my fireworks. But I mean, she was expecting Sine to be there anyways. The first night, all the ladies and Rowan go down to have dinner. Everything seems to be going on well. It's there that Jojo announces that Nonku had something to do. She's going to be coming the next day. And then Mbali was not even going to be coming at all. I don't understand Mbali. I feel like she signed up for this show and did not expect what she saw when they were filming, because I don't recall seeing her last episode. In fact, I have a feeling that Mbali may not come back if there is a season 4, which I know there will be. I think the group was not really up to her. She couldn't really keep up with the ladies, so she's kind of like falling by the wayside. And Jojo and Annie seem to think so as well in their confessional. So I mean, there's something there. I think dinner went on well. For the first time, there was no fighting, and Jojo had gifts for the ladies. I think there was some sort of clothes, because she mentioned to them, if it's not your size, that she brought extra sizes. It's obvious she went all out to plan this trip for them. The next morning comes around and Jojo is on the phone with her husband, and her husband is saying things like he wants to get all the husbands of the wives of the show together, that they are used to tagging along when their wives go somewhere, that he just wants to have something for them, like maybe a fight night. You know that Calvin is really into that. I really like that. I really like the fact that maybe we get to see more of the husbands. I mean, most of these Real Housewives show, the husbands usually sometimes do something on their own as well. So I really like that side. Then cuts to the ladies going to the pool side. So you have Annie, Slee, Maria, and Sharisha. They got to the poolside first. Then Ruwan came, saw them all seated, greeted them, and then said he's just going to go off to the corner just to sit down somewhere. Shortly after, Miss Sene walks in. Of course, they don't really like Sene. She's not vibing with the group. Even at dinner the night before, it was really, really awkward because she was there. But Sene Shah greets all of them and says, I'm going to go and sit with Ron over there. Later on, Jojo, the host of the show, now walks in with her umbrella. Jojo is very doing too much this season, but it's okay. Walks in and then tells them sorry that she was not here to kind of welcome them, that she had a sore stomach. And then she realizes that Maria, who she considers her friend, is sitting with Wendy, aka Slee, and Sharisha and Annie, whom she's not really gelling with. She says it in her confessional that her friend is sitting with Wendy, Slee, that is, sorry if I call her Wendy, that she doesn't like that. I'm like, Jojo, this is not high school. Can you short it for a bit? People can be friends with anybody they want to, and they can be friends with people you consider your enemies. Come on, be mature. Anyways, because she gets there, Jojo now goes over, sits with Rowan and Sene, and then Maria kind of gets over and sits with them. While they're sitting there, we hear helicopters. Guess who is coming? Nonku is also coming in a helicopter. Some weird reason that I do not understand, Jojo and Rowan start getting up to run up to go and meet Nonku. I'm like, I don't understand, why are you people so excited? And it was obvious that them Annie and Sharisha and Slee were like, okay, why are you guys running? As Nonku is landing, Annie, Sharisha and Slee decided that it's too noisy, that they want to go elsewhere and speak. So they didn't even bother waiting for Nonku to walk up to them to greet them. They just got up and started leaving. Maria, on the other hand, because Maria is kind of like straddling the two cliques that have been divided amongst the ladies, Maria waited when Nonku came, she greeted Nonku, and then she left. The next thing now has Jojo, Ruwan, and Nonku in the pool. They're just in the pool, and then Jojo starts complaining that she's been hearing undertones that the ladies are starting to say, because she's hanging out with Nonku, that she's now an alcoholic, because last season Nonku had that kind of problem, that time Annie came into her room and Annie was like, I'm smelling alcohol, because Annie just commented, there's a glass of, are you already drinking? Because there were 2 glasses. She didn't really walk in and say, I'm smelling alcohol, except I need to play it back. Anyway, so she goes on and on about that she's not really feeling them being friendly towards her. There and then she now told Nonku that they arrived in a helicopter, that she did not care, that she's doing a renovation of 10 million rand in their house. Of course, she can afford a helicopter to come in. And I'm like, you can afford it, but you didn't do it. Why is this a problem? Like, it was so obvious on Jojo's face that the fact that they came in a helicopter and nobody called her to join them, and they called Slee, that's the problem. She's having a huge problem with it. Anyways, they now have dinner that day now that Nonku is here, so everybody's at the table. The place was really beautiful, the setup was nice. I think Jojo did very well. So Jojo, Rowan, and Nonku were there, and I think Sene, before Sharisha, Annie, and Slee, obviously there's a divide in the group now, came. And immediately they came, Slee observed in her confessional that Nonku seemed to be a bit tipsy. I'm not liking this alcohol, narrative that seems to want to be coming up this season again. They're all adults. If you want to drink, they should be allowed to drink so long as you're not misbehaving. And then Nonku now asks, so how did you come to the other ladies? And then Sharisha now mentions that she actually flew in on a helicopter. So Nonku is like, oh, as if she didn't know. Oh, you did too. And you knew that I flew in. And I'm like, again, what is this? Is this high school? So you flew in, she flew in, what? Can we go ahead and eat? And then Nonku was trying to ask Sharisha, why did she fly in with Slee? And Sharisha actually told her that when her husband called to book the helicopter for her to come to Drakensberg, they were told by the aviation company that someone else that someone else now turning out to be Nonku was coming in the next day, that Nonku was actually her first choice. That's Shorisha is saying that Nonku was actually her first choice when she was getting a helicopter, and she had told Slee that you are the substitute. If Nonku has other plans, then you can come on the helicopter with us. But somehow it was not even landing on Nonku. All she was trying to defend was the fact that they carried Slee and they did not carry Jojo. So I'm like, it started becoming a thing. Even in the confessional, Maria and Annie were like, this is silly. And even me watching, I was like, why are we talking? You flew in, they flew in, everybody has money to fly in. It's okay. Can we move on from this topic? It kind of went on with everybody talking over each other. Nonku down trying to, shout at Slee that Slee should not, because Slee was trying to defend Shorisha, that Slee should not talk. After all, she was a substitute. Senna, on the other hand, was just drinking her wine, because I'm like, my girl is thinking why am I calling her my girl? She's not my girl. The girl is probably thinking for once, I'm not the drama. So she was just drinking her wine. And then all of a sudden, Nonku changes the topic to bring up Annie and Sene. I'm like, Nonku, can you face one person? So Sene, on the other hand, is like, in her confessional, Nonku, why are you turning to face me? Nonku brought up Annie's issue with Slee, and Annie was not having it. Then Annie now said something. Apparently, in this same event that was not filmed, Annie tripped over Sene and said sorry, and Sene made a racist remark to her, and that is what Annie is holding. Sene was trying to say she did not say that. Who heard it? Where are your receipts? And Annie insisted that she said it. I mean, they've talked about this thing in passing before. I think Maria mentioned it in like 2 episodes ago or something like that. Now, this is even aside from the comment that Sene made that Annie slept her way to the top. Honestly, they were talking back and forth, and Annie was just not having it. She wasn't budging, and that's where the episode ended. I enjoyed this episode a lot, but I have thoughts. I feel like Jojo is really trying hard to get everybody to join her bandwagon of hate, honestly, and it's really not making sense. It's giving mean girl, it's giving high school vibes, it's not giving grown woman shit. Like, I really do not understand what exactly is her point, aside from the fact like, let's hate Slee. Nonku, on the other hand, is having blind friendship as far as I'm concerned with Jojo, because this Slee was your friend even before the show. I mean, they are so close that their kids are close. So why are you coming at her so aggressively? Like, is it for the show? I'm not really understanding. But I'm enjoying our Ladies of Durban. So of course I am going to keep watching. Of course I am here for the drama, and I'm going to keep reviewing it for you. That is it for this review today. Please make sure that you check me out on Facebook at Rants of Naija Chic. I am on Instagram with the same name. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and if you are enjoying this channel, make sure that you share it with your friends as well. Do not enjoy by yourself. And I will see you next time. Bye.